are you? We're here streaming with Rodrigo from Las Tanusas. It's a beautiful, we're just facing the Pacific Ocean here, surrounded with nature. As I've mentioned in the past through my post, as what I think is one of the most beautiful, ethical, sustainable village projects that are around. And Rodrigo is the director of this project. He's been here for 5 years. 5 years, right? With six. It's the six. Yeah, building the family also together in 2013. And so yeah, we're excited to be here. Right now collaborating on the New Year's Eve menu design. We have full house at the hotel, and of course it's been amazing since the final table aired. A lot of people kind of already knowing a little bit more of our philosophy, coming here to experience it firsthand, and of course it's a big wave of inspiration for us to become even better and demand even more from ourselves and from people we work with to communicate something cool through food. And yeah, so that's kind of an introduction. We'll be online for about 50 minutes. The idea is that we're going to be telling you a bit about our creative process and what we're doing with the New Year's Eve menu. Where we're at with our lives a little bit since the final table, and well, it's been a year since we filmed it, but the launch has definitely been exciting for us. And then we'll open up for a Q&A. We'll probably do half the first part we'll be sharing with you, and the second part will be responding to your questions. So if you want to hold your questions for the end when we tell you, it would be amazing. Thank you all for those who are already connected, sharp on time. Thank you all for all the love. It's really cool to see the response that you guys and the receptivity. So yeah, we're really happy and humbled to be sharing this with you.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time.
Yeah. All right. So, what do you wanna start sharing something? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling very surprised because as we speak, I can see that there are messages coming in from different corners of the planet. And to be honest, being in this isolated place sometimes makes you lose some focus about technology, especially. In the kitchen it happened to me, and now with these new ways of sharing a message with so many people in the world, I think is amazing. Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, technology is cool. So yesterday we went on a walk through the garden. I'm not sure if you've seen, I posted kind of experimenting a little bit with Instagram TV. I've never published it, but then yeah, it felt like we were just having this amazing walk with Rodrigo, and I was like, this is amazing content, this is amazing stories. And so yeah, we just kind of filmed it so you can watch it there. But yeah, there is kind of a few of the ideas, a few of the ingredients that we're going to be using for New Year's Eve. I saw you were really inspired the other day with the concept of 360 degrees of honor. What do you want to share a little bit about that?
Well, yes, I think this inspiration also had this special spark during the final table, because one of the reasons I accepted this challenge is because there wasn't an economic reward for it. So that meant it was an authentic competition, an honorable competition, and this started to get into my mind. But in a bigger panorama, in a wider view, because we cannot think of giving our honor only to the guest, only to the people who will pay the meal or will sit at our table, but also we have to be honorable on 360 degrees with the people who work with you, directly and indirectly, with the community that hosts the place where you are performing your inspiration, and I think this has been something that kept in my mind, and then you of course have been also helping me with developing this new way of approaching the real value of things, not only by looking at the economic value of things, that is also part of the value, but there are also other ways of value, the creativity value, the prestige value as well, the experience, and also the sensitivity to perform social and environmental good. So all this is honorable. Also the fish needs honor when you treat it, when you put it in the fridge, when you cook it, when you touch it, right? So the honor spreads out to a 360 degrees enlightenment, and this is what we want to do here in Boca Valdivia.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's funny that it takes me to the kind of the French restaurant way of saying, there's a saying that is that the client is king, right? Or that, as you said, the honor goes to the client. But it's true that thinking about how the product is also king, and the people giving their precious time working in a restaurant, they're also kings in the sense of what they're giving, right? And we're all giving. The client, of course, gives its attention by being present at the table, and their economic resources. That's kind of the common reward that we have in restaurants. People pay for a meal, but there's so much more value that goes into all the different bits, and maybe just kind of shifting the attention eventually. This is a more philosophical aspect of, it's not only about that transaction and using food as a commodity, but like treating it with respect. So that's kind of important nowadays, that we need to shift a little bit on how we relate to nature. So that's kind of where our philosophy is, as if you've seen the show, of course, that was why we went there to communicate what we did. And so the menu. What do you want to share a little bit about some of the recipes or the ingredients that we're going to be using?
Sure. The New Year's Eve menu is very important because people relate it to a very special moment of the year. Closing a circle, but also opening a new one. And this moment is very special for I think for all families and for most of the people in the world who have the chance to enjoy. But also is a great opportunity to share and convey a message through the conception of the menu. For us, creating a menu is like creating a suit for each occasion, tailor-made, considering the different aspects that go around the menu, the time of the year, the time of the day, the amount of people, the vision of the people. Are those people driven by why are you doing what you're doing? And if it's the case, then you can cook free. So we're going to use a variety of products that really reflect the biodiversity of the place, and try to convey a message of the full utilization of the products, especially animal products and also vegetable products. To share a message of giving the people the chance to enjoy the flavors of the ocean through vegetables, as infused vegetables with ocean flavors. So people have the chance to try the oyster recipe you're creating, but you don't have to kill the whole reef to feed a dish of oysters to your guests. So we take a bunch and then we infuse aloe vera, we infuse different other vegetables, and then it will taste exactly like an oyster. We also recreate the texture, and we start playing with these ingredients.
So that's the fake oyster dish.
Yes.
That
you know well.
Yeah, the fake oyster dish we're gonna do. It's been already been done in Boca Valdivia, and basically instead of using a lot of the oysters that are here on the reef are very tiny. They're very sweet, but they're not very commercial because it takes a lot of time opening them. And they're more like sea clams than oysters, but they have an amazing flavor. They're not very commercial. You wouldn't find them fishermen wouldn't be kind of selling them. It's kind of very tiny, but they have an amazing flavor. So if you wanted to do a dish with that, you'd have to use 20 little oysters or 15 little oysters. And if you're cooking for 30 people, that's 300 oysters that you'd be taking from the reef, which might affect the ecosystem, the fragile ecosystem of the reef. So what was kind of one of these principles of trying to respect, but at the same time giving a flavor of the sea, of the ocean, is that we're using aloe vera, which many people don't know it's edible. You can use it it's like panacea. You can use it for sunburns, for hydration, in smoothies. It's an incredible ingredient. It's very cheap, very sustainable. It's a desert plant, so it kind of, it maintains the water inside of the leaf. It's a beautiful thing. So it also has a very special texture. And if you take out that kind of saliva that it has, how do you do that? You blanch it, or
you can soak it in cold water, or also you can boil it truly in hot water, depending on what you're going to use it for. And then you will get rid of this, but also you're getting rid of the substance that is important. So also I have lost fear in sharing strange textures to the guests, to the dishes. And then sometimes you can make it work really nicely, leaving the natural consistency of the aloe vera. The aloe vera saliva that you mean has a lot of iodine. That's why it's a great antibacterial, and it will be coming once in your stomach, a great hepatic stimulator.
Okay.
So it's very good for when you start a menu, because as you share a story about the reef, about the oysters, you're also at the same time giving medicine to your body before the rest of the meal. Yeah. You're preparing your stomach with the aloe vera before the rest of the meal. And this is the case with all the aromatic herbs and medicinal herbs we use in every dish, the wild oregano. They're not only there to enhance the flavors or to be a colorful element on the dish, but it's also a medicinal part that will relax your stomach and will make the digestion a lot easier.
Yeah, so the 360 degrees of honor also for your belly and your liver. Because sometimes we tend to eat a lot and not really think about the impact of all this good food on our digestive system and our bodies. That definitely medicinal part. So we take the aloe vera and we take out a little bit of that saliva that it has this very strong smell. The texture that remains is amazing. It's very soft. It kind of, how do you say it, Lisa?
Slides.
Yeah, it slides on your tongue. And then we do take a few oysters from the reef, but we make a broth out of that, very condensed broth. And then we take the aloe vera and we warm it up in that broth. It's almost like what in French tradition, culinary technique, you would call a glace of like a very condensed reduction of the oyster flavor, and then that piece of aloe vera goes there. So that's the central part of the fake oyster dish, which has a little bit of oyster, but it's kind of more, let's say sustainable, like if we're serving whole oysters, in particular for this ecosystem, because oysters can be very sustainable. They clean rivers and, they clean waters, and they can be very sustainable. But in particular here, with the species of oysters that we have, we don't want to consume too many of them. So this is where we started kind of to create this particular dish of the fake oyster. which is going to be served in a spondylus.
Yes.
What is the spondylus?
The spondylus princeps is an ancient bivalve, an ancient shellfish that is located in different parts of the world, but the most successful ones are located here in the southern coast of Ecuador. And this was the main reason, or one of the main reasons, that the pre-Hispanic cultures of Ecuador, starting from the Valdivia culture 8,000 years ago, we would already be using the flesh of this spondylus princeps with a purple lip and these amazing teeth, red and orange, that is a unique shellfish that we will show later on.
We'll post a picture of this dish later, so you see the spondylus. We had one in the dining room, but we forgot to bring it.
The important thing is to know that this product was part of the economy thousands of years ago. It was also a currency, and only the shell had more value than gold at the time. And the flesh was related directly with fertility and as food of the gods. So because of all these thousands of years of exporting these products to the Inca Empire, to other places, they said they even brought it to Egypt. They said they had contact with Japanese sailors as well, thousands of years ago. So it's amazing how an historical content, and you're using only the ethnobotany, only the dish, we're imagining the flesh, we're creating the texture of the element, but we are not breaking the rules of using this product because it's forbidden to fish it for life, because it will take a long time to recover.
Yeah, so right now it's not, I mean, there are still spondylus in this coast. It's forbidden to fish. Some people still do it, unfortunately, because they don't know, they don't have awareness of the fragility of the ecosystem, and lack of understanding of the cycles of the ocean. So it is forbidden to eat, to fish. We do find the conch shells, though, and that's the conch where we're going to be using as a plate, basically. And the conch, not the flesh, was what was used as a currency. You find them in Peru, in the mountains, and there would be kind of exchanges of indigenous cultures where they would this would be a sacred offering, this conch shell, because of its beauty. So yeah, that's kind of what we bring together, and that dish kind of explains a little bit the principle, I guess, of the menu. Every dish that we're coming up with has that kind of sustainability and cultural sense. So it's not only about creating something delicious. I think, and this is beautiful to see also, a lot of cooks and restaurateurs are really looking beyond flavor, because it's almost easy to create something delicious. There's so many ingredients, there's so many options, and so yeah, if you're in the industry, definitely think more and more about taking it to the edge of how, the most ethical possible. And sometimes it's very hard to do 100% ethical, but at least we're doing the best we can. Even here, the reality is there's a philosophy, but there's a reality that sometimes is not absolutely perfect. But we are trying our best, and I think that's what everyone should kind of aim for, at least. At the best of their capacity, and this is how we change, because the things that make us not be 100% sustainable at this point are because there is a very big system around, right? And commercial and cultural that hopefully will change, but it needs to have that little pressure of everyone wanting a bit more ethical. So we work in numbers, and that's how we can make a little bit of change. Solo quería pasarme un poquito a español, porque veo que hay muchos comentarios en español. Decidimos hablar en inglés, porque pues hay, digamos, un porcentaje más alto de audiencia en inglés. Pero bueno, acá también hablamos en español, y más tarde les estaremos, las preguntas que estén en español, más tarde las contestaremos en español. y las en inglés. Por ahí veo que también está Rafa viendo. Hey, Rafa.
Rafinha. Crack.
Yeah, looking forward to see you, brother. And yeah, all the comments. Thank you so much for all the love. And then keep your questions. Keep your questions for in five minutes. We'll be starting the Q&A. Well, actually, there's a question here that I think is very interesting within the framework of our effort to do a very ethical New Year's Eve menu. Is someone asked about permaculture. So, what is the type of what's the? I mean, I know part of the answer, but it would be cool if you say what's been kind of the effort and the challenge of growing food here for the restaurant. And, yeah.
More than a challenge, it has been a big source of inspiration. I realized after years of walking in the garden for thousands of times, literally, I realized that the cuisine is an extension of the agriculture. So I started considering the orchard and food garden as part of the kitchen immediately. Not less, no more, but equally. And also the staff. I started integrating the staff, the kitchen staff into the finca, and the finca staff into the kitchen. Now they're all mixed together right now in the kitchen in this moment, and respecting their job at the moment. But sometime in a few weeks they will go in the finca and do the finca work, which is absolutely honorable for them as well. And this is how we connect. The team has to be driven by why we are doing what we're doing. Once the team is in the same side, then we go and we move forward, and then we try to share that with the guests. And that creates a chain of honor, a chain of happiness, especially. And this chain of happiness is super hard to stop.
Yeah. I think there's something very special about having people in the farm go to the kitchen and people in the kitchen going to the farm. Because then when you understand that relationship, you become more creative. Like there's no way that someone from the garden doesn't see their vegetables differently when they see that the flowers, the stems, the leaves, the roots can be used in many ways. So they will grow their ingredients differently. They will see the product differently from the garden. And as soon as they do that, there's a feedback loop. So the maturity of the plant reaches different stages that then the cook can use in creative ways. So the leaf will be used differently when it's small and tender than when it's big and green and a bit more powerful in smell. So there is that beautiful feedback loop. And that's kind of the beauty of interdisciplinarity. Even the kitchen allows for all disciplines to kind of go and think and evolve. It's really interesting to set these feedback loops. In terms of something that I find extremely interesting about what has happened here naturally is that there is, of course, the garden, which is 1 hectare right now.
Producing, yes.
Yeah. There's more potential, of course, and there's a lot of challenges that go with growing this. Fortunately, there's a lot of sun here and a lot of water underground. So those two are abundant. There's a mountain just a few kilometers back where it rains a lot, and here it doesn't rain that much. So it's like a microclimate. Water comes down and you find it underground. But you get a lot of sun exposure, so things grow very fast. It's wonderful. But one thing that I find very interesting is that there is a housing project here. We're actually in one of the houses just in front of the beach, and the idea is to bring food. So instead of using just decoration plants for the gardens, it will be food. And there's this beautiful idea that you showed me yesterday. Found genius. It's like this little wooden structure where you have 4 kind of square containers with earth and plants inside. And the idea is that they will be very close to each of the houses. And so you have basil, celery, mint, oregano growing there. and you will kind of use your plants there to make your infusions, to use for your salads or whatever. And as soon as the plant is kind of, because usually when you buy a plant and you have it in your kitchen, after 5 days, it's dead, right? You take all the leaves, it just kind of, you kill it slowly. In this case, it would be, I found it genius that there will be this system where there's kind of individual boxes on this wooden platform, and you will take what you need, and then the gardeners naturally will kind of come and replace the plant and take the plant that you've used first to rest for a few weeks, and then it will come back again after it has rested and kind of grown again. So there is this beautiful system that when I think about this project as a lab basically for sustainable practices, and this is almost like urban farming practice, and I'm sure there's a lot of people doing really cool stuff around the world, but it's fun that there are some things that just make sense. And this kind of innovation, which is very simple, is just kind of a wooden structure and a system of replacing plants. It makes a lot of sense. I'm sure that someone else figured out something similar around the world, but then hopefully this can inspire city designers and urban gardening, urban farming to come and kind of evolve in a way that can create this proximity to the ingredients almost inside of your house. Anyway, so that's something that in terms of agriculture, in terms of being connected with the earth, there's a lot of things happening here that are quite inspiring. Right, so do you want to share anything else, or shall we switch to Q&A?
Solo en español.
En español.
Un pequeño comentario acerca de lo que estábamos hablando. Para terminar de decir la parte del menú. Entonces, bajo estos conceptos de sostenibilidad, del aprovechamiento de la comida del mar a través de los vegetales para no depredar los arrecifes, a través del 100% de la utilización de un pescado, por ejemplo, de piel a hueso, literalmente. Todos esos conceptos se van transformando con fundamentos culinarios, evidentemente, en objetos, en creaciones que van a llegar al frente de las personas y van a producir una emoción. Pienso que el arte tiene como misión principal educar, y si el arte culinario también es un arte, como los que estamos convencidos que sí es, la primera misión del arte culinario es educar a nuestros clientes, a nuestro equipo y a nosotros mismos también.
Buenísimo. Y bueno, vemos que tienen muchas preguntas pues mucha audiencia en español, toda la gente en México, en Ecuador, en Colombia, mucho cariño, y bueno, también toda la comunidad latina, seguramente en Estados Unidos. Qué chévere que se estén conectando con aquí, que estén presentes. Just as a short translation, what Rodrigo just said is fundamental. Food is a tool for education. Education for the clients, for people who eat in restaurants, education for the teams, education for those who create. It is, a transversal education tool. And for some reason we don't see it fully as that. We see it more like, I don't know, it's like the business of restaurants. It's a place to have fun, it's a place to have pleasure, but we're not using in its full potential what food can really be, which is a tool for educating better human behaviors at large. So, right, so if you want to pose questions, now's the time. I'm going to be checking on the phone here the questions, and we're going to be selecting the ones that seem kind of more exciting, interesting to talk about. Si tienen preguntas, este es el momento ahora para empezar a ponerlas. Yo voy a estar acá pendiente. Vamos a escoger las preguntas que más resuenen y que más nos interese contestar. Pero bueno, pregunten lo que quieran. En verdad, estamos acá. No tiene que ser solamente de cocina. Right, so let me check. Bueno, preguntas sobre los insectos. ¿Cómo recomendarían? Acá pregunta Eru Doyle. ¿Cómo recomendarían integrar cosas como insectos en comidas de todos los días?
Bueno, hay maneras ahorita a través de la propia industria alimentaria ya se pueden encontrar harinas de insectos para hacer diferentes preparaciones, pero es bueno descubrir también que hay muchas granjas de insectos a nivel mundial que se dedican a esto y cuyos objetivos van relacionados a promover un tipo de alimento, un tipo de criatura, de ser vivo que da millones de crías al año, miles o millones de crías al año, a diferencia de lo que estamos acostumbrados a comer hoy por hoy las personas que dan pocas crías al año. En muchos casos, como la carne, una vez al año da la cría. Entonces, eso significa que debemos ser muy conscientes en ese sentido también.
Sí, y creo que cada vez se está despertando más industria. Bueno, industria, uso la palabra industria porque sí hay que producir bastante alimentos para alimentar a toda la humanidad, y hay una industria que está creciendo sobre consumos de insectos, y lo mejor que podemos hacer es ir online y en donde sea que estemos, en algún lado se debe conseguir, ya sea por Amazon o productores locales, buscar y pedir, consumir, porque cuando le ponemos dinero, cuando estamos comprando insectos, estamos apoyando esa industria y poco a poco van creciendo, y he conocido bastante gente que está metida en ese negocio y realmente necesitan nuestro apoyo de probar los productos, de hablar de ellos, y pues bueno, esa es la forma como se cambian las cosas, ¿no? Wow, there's so many good questions. Okay. There's a good one here. There's a really good one by Lulu Boon. Do you and Rodrigo ever consider the energies you mentally and emotionally include into your cooking and how that affects the people who eat it? How important is it to you guys? What do you think about that one?
Amazing question.
It's a good one.
That's one of the main reasons we cook, basically, is to convey our vision and our emotions through our hands and through these elements of nature that connect what is above us with what is under us.
Yeah.
We're in the middle.
Yeah, it's
we're in the middle of something great going on, right?
Yeah, the planet you mean, and the universe and everything.
The fact of our agriculture is the perfect balance between the cosmic energy
the sky and
the earth, right? So, and we are in the middle eating that. So yeah. we are balanced. We are equilibrium, and this we can take into every action that we do, not only as cooks but as any other activities. And especially the ones where you use your hands and your creativity are also great paths to convey messages and to share different emotions.
Yeah.
That the world needs to hear.
And there's, of course, this kind of, the question could be taken in the kind of the more esoteric sense of what is it, the energy, the spiritual energy that you put into something, the intention, but also could be taken from purely the scientific aspect, which is, it's quite actually amazing that we have these ecosystems to play with, right? And so what is the narrative? Through narrative and through sensation, through sensory perception, we communicate much more than just a sensation. It is literally embodying a message, right? It's becoming whatever is there. So when you understand that responsibility, then ideally, and it's not easy, it's not always, but ideally you are in full awareness, in full consciousness, preparing the food, cutting it, like almost in a meditative state and a collective meditative state, because you're often never alone when you cook. And then that message goes through, and of course, if well presented from the process, from the ingredient, the source, to the moment of the experience, it is a magnificent tool. So yeah, thanks for that question. More questions. A ver, bueno, por acá nos pregunta Monsalve que la forma en cómo cocinamos en la orilla de la playa, que ¿dónde viene eso?
Eso viene de tiempos milenarios.
Sí, bueno.
Más que milenarios. El uso del fuego para cocer y comer viene de tiempos prehistóricos, de hecho. Entonces es un comportamiento natural de los seres humanos de hacer la preparación de los alimentos en el sitio donde se cultivaron y se cosecharon, o donde, en el caso de las culturas antiguas que tenían que recurrir a la caza, porque nosotros no somos cazadores, pero aquellas culturas que tienen o que tenían que recurrir a la caza también preparan sus alimentos en el sitio. Ellos no viajan con el alimento crudo por la selva, por ejemplo, sino donde hicieron la cacería, ahuman sus pescados, ahuman los diferentes elementos que vayan a haber podido obtener de la naturaleza. Eso es un indicador de que lo que estamos haciendo nosotros responde al sentido común, a la misma lógica que usaron ellos hace miles de años, de comer cerca del origen de lo que estás preparando.
Ya, y yo a eso le agregaría que también eso de cocinar en la playa viene de estar en la playa y de decir, mierda, pues aquí está la comida, aquí está increíble este lugar, ¿por qué no traemos aquí el restaurante? ¿Por qué tiene que ser siempre encerrado en 4 paredes? O hasta en una terraza, ¿por qué? ¿Por qué no irnos directamente ahí, no? Entonces es algo, sí, de crear un presente único, pero también al fin y al cabo es lógica universal, ¿no? Lógica natural de la relación de los humanos con su medio ambiente y tener que alimentarse.
Vi una pregunta chévere.
Dale.
Y dice, ¿qué sienten de recibir tantas preguntas y tantos mensajes? Se siente increíble porque estando en el lugar donde estamos podemos compartir con todo el mundo. Eso es increíble. Ese mundo moderno también trae consigo muchas oportunidades de compartir. No todo el mundo tiene la posibilidad de estar aquí en este momento, pero a través de este medio se puede. Entonces estamos muy agradecidos, muy sorprendidos y por supuesto sobrecogidos de gran manera por toda esta respuesta de corazón, donde se resaltan cosas esenciales. No se trata de una satisfacción personal que nos pueda producir por ego, sino que se nota que los valores que han quedado de las oportunidades que hemos tenido de trabajar juntos han sido la sostenibilidad, ha sido la compasión, ha sido los valores del rescate cultural. Entonces, que esos valores se impregnen desde nosotros en otras personas nos parece la mejor noticia del mundo. Muchas gracias.
Sí, muchas gracias. That was very nicely said. That we're very grateful to basically have you here present right now asking questions, and it feels like a big responsibility. It feels that there's something good to do, and of course I see a lot of questions of when are you coming to Mexico? Do you have plans to travel around the world? Absolutely, we that's kind of what we would love to do, but of course also using this technology, which is a very sustainable way of spreading out messages. We're definitely thinking of how we can make this more recurrent and all that. This is only the first one that we do together. We'll probably do one again later this week. And again, feedback. If you want us to do something, let us know. We're listening, and we're very happy to have this kind of megaphone now to share, ideas and ways of living. I have there's a question here that I really like. Is one small thing that everyone could do to change. Sorry, what is one small thing everyone could change to make their lifestyle more sustainable? There are many things that we can do, and the important thing is that we start with something, even if it's very small, because there's a psychological phenomenon actually happening right now, which is climate anxiety, one of them. And the anxiety of what do I do? Like, how can I help, solve one of the big problems? And we are kind of in this massive existential crisis as a species. So what can we do? And there are many things, and we'll share a few. But the important thing is that we don't forget to do something every day. Things as simple as polluting less, consuming less. So polluting less comes in the form of carrying your own straw, saying no to plastic straws before people bring it at restaurants and bars, carrying your own cup, your own bottle, so to limit the plastic, at least. That's the pollution that we're producing in massive amounts. So limiting the way we pollute. I would even recommend eating less. Eating less, being more mindful about what we eat. And especially the ingredients that produce more carbon dioxide and consume more water, CO2 and water. So just to give you a very simple idea, it's just like consume less beef. If you go vegan, great. We love vegetarian food. I personally eat vegetarian most of the days of the week. And it's not about that everyone should go vegan. If we simply all the people who love food, who love meat, beef in particular, just consume less often. Just consume less portions. And if you're in a restaurant, use the best quality you can find and do a small portion. A morsel is enough to be satisfied. You don't need to eat 300 grams of meat, and it's not even good for you. So reducing consumption, reducing pollution is something that we can all do. And of course, reducing consumption is also through reducing waste, which comes through understanding the product a bit better. Do you have any recommendations on that sustainable?
Yes, I think the most sustainable way of living is being grateful, because sustainability is not only related to nature or to natural resources, but also economic sustainability is important for a lot of people. For us, as we speak, but especially for those who struggle. So the main tool that you can use as a human to make a better world is start being grateful for what you have.
That's beautiful. That's really, really interesting. Because it's that attitude, right? Even if you consume, if you're grateful, you cannot not be more aware and more conscious and more respectful. So yeah, gratefulness. That's very nice.
I see a good question.
Yeah.
Someone wants to marry you.
Oh really? Hello.
Yes.
I don't know how to answer to that one.
Go for it.
All right. Okay, questions. So many, it's hard to choose. What else? Ayúdame a conseguir alguna.
Someone asked what do you think about permaculture? And yeah, I think you already answered to that one, but it's important to create a relationship between nature and humans again. To look forward of a reconciliation process between humans and nature, because we've been hurting each other a lot lately. And it's been the nature of our relationship, but there has been also times where we have learned to live in harmony, and there's trace of that behavior. And it's funny because those cultures were the most advanced cultures in the world. The Valdivia culture, great mindset, matriarchal society, completely open, completely dedicated to pleasure in an open way. It's written that they went through a renaissance period that lasted 1,000 years, where poetry and art were greatly exposed in the community with a lot of social activities. We're talking about 6,000 to 8,000 years ago. We now think these people were wild. They were. Aren't we wild today? Because we wear clothes, are we less wild than those who didn't wear clothes before? We are the same humans. Genetically, we are the same, but we respond to our environment and to the purpose as an individual, but also as a group, as a community. So that's what they were experts for. They used to have a great harmonious relationship with the universe and with nature, and that's why they lasted for so many thousands of years. So I think we should replicate this ancient behavior of taking exclusively what you need. And if you are taking yucca, you plant it again as a habit. To like we do here, like we brush our teeth in the morning, we plant in the garden every day somewhere. It doesn't have to be scheduled, it doesn't have to be planned. Just plant something as a habit. So we're encouraging a lot of people to do that at home. You don't have to have land. You have to have a pot this big and water it every day.
Yeah.
And make it meaningful for you.
Yeah, there's something beautiful that I learned recently with the indigenous people of the Sierra Nevada in Colombia. They say that every morning when they wake up, they do something called marneiku. Marneiku means saying hi to the sun, el saludo al sol. And every day before they drink water, have breakfast, even go to the toilet, they do something for nature. They say hi to nature in the form of work. And simple things like that are very interesting. And I want to connect with another question here. How can we attract more attention to the ancestral cooking techniques and dishes that each of our countries have? What would you recommend? I think supporting people who are doing research, but also doing research ourselves, talking to the elders. Sometimes, especially young people, were like, oh yeah, the old ones, they're too old, the world is changing, but they have so much wisdom, they have so much things that we don't ask and they want to share. So really having that intergenerational connection at all stages is important. And then just doing research, like looking up. Every country has had people in their land for thousands of years. This is something universal. It's not. And it's our ancestors, it's our great-great-great-great-great-grandfathers who are having all these rituals that have a lot to teach us. So that's kind of my take, but it's sometimes that we're too obsessed by modernism, and for the future we need to really look back a little bit more. Something else, cookbook. Are you thinking about a cookbook?
Yes, of course. This is very important. I want to give a gift to my son and all the children of the world through a nice book with a lot of nice details on it, tasty information. And I was thinking inside my head about how to make a better world and how people can do something. And is cook at home. You want the ancestral feeling? Well, become one in your kitchen. So cooking is already ancestral in its pure nature. So the fact you're using your hands, you're peeling, you are cleaning, you are connecting, cooking, using temperature, that is already amazingly ancestral. So go and cook at home in products, and that way you will make a better world by changing your fridge. I bet that the people from US, Germany, Greece, Guatemala, Mexico, Colombia, Panama, República Dominicana, Ecuador, Canada, Taiwan, all the countries that I saw, I bet that we have something in common.
A lot of things,
And then we shouldn't. I think our purpose, or personally speaking, as a chef, my purpose is to approach people to good food rather than make it impossible for people. And this is an important objective of my everyday work.
Absolutely. Again, thank you for all the great questions. And this one I think we could answer both in Spanish and English. Maybe to close, what's the next chapter for us in 2019? ¿Cuál es el próximo capítulo para nosotros en el 2019? Vamos a contestar esta en inglés y en español.
En mi caso personal, tengo planes, pero me dejo guiar por el cosmos. De verdad.
Ok, ¿cómo te habla el cosmos?
El cosmos ilumina el camino de manera muy linda, y no solo de día, sino de noche también, a través de la luna, de las estrellas, de toda esa información que podemos obtener de ahí arriba, pero también de abajo. Como te digo, no estoy esperando nada. Los cambios que yo quiero ver también son internos. No quiero algo monumental que vaya a ser el reflejo del éxito, más bien internamente ser mejor, obviamente. Pero ver resultados en tu equipo, por ejemplo, me parece lindo, me parece interesante. Ver a Walter, por ejemplo, sí, o a los chicos, a cualquiera de los chicos del equipo, verlos crecer, es como ver crecer una planta que tú sembraste un día en una tierra que era incierta, y de repente a través de la constancia, del cuidado, de la agüita, de la enseñanza, ¿no? de ese contacto, puedes cosechar una fruta deliciosa, jugosa, que tú mismo sembraste. Entonces pienso que ese proceso, por más pequeño que sea ese círculo, ya sea de manera literal o metafórica, de la siembra y la cosecha, es un proceso muy bonito de vivir. Eso viene naturalmente en la vida, y el éxito solo viene cuando hay una buena salud espiritual. Para mí eso es lo más importante. Entonces, que este año de 2019 nos traiga eso, una buena salud espiritual, para tener la fuerza para enfrentar todos los desafíos que se nos van a presentar a nivel personal y profesional.
Very nice, muy lindo. Pues sí, inspirado por la forma en cómo hablas, definitivamente muy... resuena mucho con eso. Por mi lado...
Gracias.
Bueno, ha sido bastante bonito ver la reacción que tuvo lo de Netflix, ¿no? Lo del Final Table. Nosotros fuimos allá, nos metimos y no sabíamos muy bien en lo que nos estábamos metiendo. No nos dijeron muy bien de qué se trataba, solamente nos dijeron que era pues una competencia, y pues teníamos claro que queríamos hacer algo muy bueno. Fuimos allá, vimos esto, pasaron meses y meses. Yo ni siquiera me acordaba qué es lo que habíamos hecho en muchos detalles, pero pues ya verlo afuera y cómo se comunicó, fue muy bonito ver la reacción. Entonces para mí el año entrante es tomar responsabilidad y conectar aún más con ese mensaje, y seguir evolucionando como ser humano alrededor de esos valores que son los que realmente importan, y ojalá poder tener más métodos para educar, para comunicar, para inspirar. Y ahí estoy pensando, entonces, para ser más concreto, estoy pensando en crear un canal de contenido y juntar eso, o sea, comunicación online, juntar eso con ir a diferentes lugares en el mundo, compartiendo conocimiento, colaborando con otros cocineros, y obviamente no solamente trabajo con el tema puramente culinario, sino más con el tema de innovación social, de comunidades. Voy a estar trabajando en Colombia con comunidades de emprendedores, justamente en pensar en innovar y en tener más intención en lo que creamos, ¿no? Tomar las enseñanzas del arte culinario y aplicarlas a sistemas de alguna manera u otra. Entonces, eso es como en resumidas cuentas. In English now, for 2019, personally, it's been so inspiring to see the reaction, your presence. Like, can't believe that there's over 200 people right now. It's humbling, but it's a massive responsibility, because the values that we put forward on the final table first of all, they were just the tip of the iceberg. What was edited, what you saw, is just the tip of the iceberg of our intention, our philosophy. So there's a willingness to communicate much more. How that would happen? So of course online, we'll be communicating personally. I'm thinking of creating a channel of content. I've been working quite hard in the past weeks with a few friends to try to figure out how to create content that is inspirational but also educational. Like, simply, I'm an educator, and I've been doing it for a few years, and I want to find ways of using the online method to inspire and teach. So that's going to be a massive part of my work, but also traveling, going to different places, and co-creating, whether it is with culinary experiences or immersive installations, talks, and but also working with communities, which is like the social innovation part is something that I'm really interested in. This is the perfect example, Las Tanusas in Boca Valdivia. There's at the core food, and around there's a social innovation project, which wants to benefit the community, create a touristic destination, a conscious touristic destination. So I think we're both interested in the aspects that go beyond food, using food as a medium and at the core of our connection to nature and to each other, but all the rest is kind of integral part of the work. So that's it for me. 2019 in English.
Let the universe guide. As I said, I'm not looking for anything monumental, but internal changes that allow me to be a better person, and obviously a better professional, and to change as many good lives for better lives as I can, and to plant as many trees as possible, and to harm as less living creatures as possible.
That's very nice. All right, we're gonna have to say goodbye. It's been a pleasure. Now we have 70 people for lunch.
70 people.
It's been amazing that a lot of people have been coming to Boca Valdivia to taste what is being created here, to live the experience. So yeah, there's full house. We're gonna go upstairs now to follow up with that. But it's been a pleasure to be here a little bit for you. Thank you all so much for all that those messages. I've seen messages from Brazil, from Manila, from the States, Mexico. Yeah, it's been very